They laughed at our paper scrolls while they manipulated holographic displays. They mocked our chemical rockets as they folded space. They called us primitive as they traveled between stars in the blink of an eye. Humanity was the cosmic joke, until we weren't. I still remember the first alien embassy that landed in Geneva. The Valforians, with their translucent skin and six-fingered hands, didn't even try to hide their condescension. "Your species shows promise," their ambassador told the United Nations. "In a few centuries, perhaps you'll be ready to join the Galactic Council as observers." That was 15 years ago, before we understood what they were really after. My name is Alex Chen, commander of the Earth Defense Fleet, a title that would have been science fiction not long ago. I was just a lieutenant when we discovered what made humans unique among the stars. It wasn't our technology, our art, or our philosophies. It was something far more fundamental. The Valforians had given us limited access to their database of known species. Thousands of civilizations, each with capabilities far beyond our own. Yet, as our scientists studied this treasure trove of information, they noticed something odd. While these species had mastered gravity manipulation, faster than light travel, and even limited time dilation, they all shared one peculiar limitation. None of them could dream. It sounds insignificant, doesn't it? The ability to imagine scenarios that don't exist, to envision futures that haven't happened. To us, it was as natural as breathing. To them, it was impossible. When we tried explaining dreams to our Valforian liaisons, they believed we were describing a form of mental illness. Hallucinations during rest cycles. They asked with genuine concern. "Your brains malfunction regularly." We didn't realize what we had stumbled upon. The Valforians did. Their visits became more frequent. Their cultural exchanges grew increasingly focused on human psychology. They requested brain scans, sleep studies, neurotransmitter analyses, all under the guise of helping us evolve. It took Dr. Lena Okafor, our leading xenobiologist, to connect the dots. She discovered that the Valforian brain functioned like a quantum computer, incredibly efficient at processing reality, but incapable of generating original scenarios. They couldn't imagine what didn't exist. They couldn't innovate without precedent. Yet they had advanced technology. They had art and culture. How? The answer came when we finally gained access to their secure archives. For millennia, they had been harvesting dreams from primitive species across the galaxy, taking our imagination and using it to fuel their progress. Earth wasn't being prepared for membership in their Galactic Council. We were being prepared for harvesting. What the Valforians never anticipated was that we would discover their plan, that we would understand the value of what they called our primitive mental aberrations, that we would weaponize our ability to imagine the impossible. When their harvesting fleet arrived in Earth's orbit 6 months ago, they expected compliance. Instead, they found resistance unlike anything their species had ever encountered, because while they had stolen dreams from 1,000 worlds, they had never faced a species that knew what they were after and had prepared accordingly. As I stand on the bridge of humanity's first true starship, watching the captured Valforian vessels being studied by our engineers, I can't help but smile at the irony. They called us primitive. Now they're learning who really rules the stars. And this is just the beginning. The Valforian fleet commander now sits across from me in what used to be their own interrogation chamber. The irony isn't lost on either of us. Their translucent skin pulses with agitation, a biological tell they can't control. "You've violated countless treaties," they say, 6 fingers tapping rhythmically against the metal table. "The council will respond with force." I slide forward the evidence we've gathered. Star charts marking every world they've harvested. Treaties you never intended to honor. How many species have you destroyed after taking what you wanted from them? The silence that follows tells me everything. 3 weeks before the Valforian harvesting fleet arrived, we had deployed our countermeasure, Operation Dreamcatcher. Dr. Okafor had discovered something revolutionary about human consciousness that gave us an edge. Unlike other species whose dreams were individualistic and easily contained, human dreams could resonate with each other, creating a kind of psychic network when properly synchronized. We had established dream labs in underground facilities across the globe. Thousands of volunteers, artists, engineers, soldiers, children, connected to devices that amplified and directed their collective dreaming. When the Valthorians activated their harvesting technology, instead of siphoning our dreams, they encountered something like a psychic tsunami. Your harvesting technology works by creating a one-way bridge between minds, I explained to the commander. But you never considered what would happen if the flow reversed. The Valthorians' four eyes widened slightly. They understand now. The battle lasted less than an hour. Their ships, designed to be impenetrable to conventional weapons, had no defenses against the flood of human imagination that poured through their own harvesting equipment. Their crews experienced something their species had never evolved to handle: dreams, nightmares, hopes, and fears, all at once. Most were incapacitated immediately. The few who maintained consciousness surrendered without resistance. Dr. Okafor joins us, carrying a neural interface, a modified version of the Valthorians' own technology. We're ready for the next phase, she says quietly. What she doesn't say, what the commander doesn't need to know, is that we're facing our own crisis. The dream link had unexpected consequences. Some of our dreamers haven't woken up. Others have returned changed. Their minds expanded beyond what we thought possible. A few can now perceive realities that shouldn't exist. The Council ships will arrive within months. The Valthorian warns. They'll sterilize your entire system rather than let this technology spread. I nod to Dr. Okafor, who activates a holographic display showing the solar system. Dozens of points of light now orbit Earth. The captured Valthorian vessels, repurposed by our engineers with astonishing speed. We're not waiting for them to come to us, I reply. Back in my quarters later, I reviewed the classified reports from the Dream Labs. The phenomenon is spreading. People who weren't even part of the program have started experiencing shared dreams. Children across the globe are drawing the same strange symbols. Strangers are recognizing each other from dreams they've shared. We've awakened something within ourselves, something the Valthorians feared enough to travel across the galaxy to contain. The communication panel chimes. It's Captain Rivera from the newly commissioned dreamship Prometheus. Commander, we've completed integration of the jump drive with the dream amplifiers, she reports. The navigators believe they can take us beyond the reaches of the Galactic Council's territory. And the destination coordinates? I ask. Her expression changes, becoming both troubled and exhilarated. That's just it, sir. They say the coordinates came from the dream space itself. Something out there is calling to us. Behind her, through the viewport, I can see Earth growing smaller as they prepare to make the first jump. Humanity's first step into a much larger universe, one where our so-called primitive minds might be the most powerful weapons of all. What awaits us out there in the stars? And what have we truly awakened within ourselves? 3 months have passed since the Prometheus made its jump. Communication with Earth remains possible through what we now call dream space, a realm that exists parallel to our physical universe, accessible only through human consciousness. I stand in the central chamber of the Geneva Dream Institute, surrounded by hundreds of dreamers in reclined pods. Their synchronized breathing creates an almost hypnotic rhythm. The air smells faintly of ozone and antiseptic. Dr. Okafor adjusts controls on her tablet, monitoring the neural patterns displayed on the enormous screens that encircle us. They've made contact with 3 more civilizations, she says, her eyes never leaving the data streams. All former victims of Valthorian harvesting, all with their dreaming abilities stunted or destroyed. The first transmission from the Prometheus after their jump had been both exhilarating and disturbing. They'd emerged in a system with a dying red giant, orbited by a planet housing the remnants of a civilization called the Neth. Unlike the Valthorians, the Neth welcomed our dreamship with something approaching religious awe. They had legends, Captain Rivera had reported, her holographic image flickering slightly due to the strain of transmitting through dream space. Stories about ancestors who could see beyond reality. They called it the Great Forgetting. When the visitors came and took their dreams away, the Valforians weren't just harvesting dreams for technological advancement. They were systematically neutralizing potential threats, species by species, millennium after millennium. A commotion near the entrance pulls my attention away. 2 security officers escort a young woman who shouldn't be here. Her eyes are bright with an unnatural intensity I've come to recognize. "Commander Chen," Dr. Okafor says quietly. "This is Eliza Wong. She's one of the spontaneous dreamers." The spontaneous dreamers, ordinary people who never participated in Operation Dreamcatcher, but somehow became connected to the dream space anyway. Their numbers grow daily, despite government efforts to keep the phenomenon contained. "I know where they are," Eliza says without introduction. "The Council. I've seen their homeworld." Later, in a secure conference room, Eliza sketches star patterns I don't recognize. Admiral Katri and the Joint Chiefs watch via encrypted video feed, their expressions grim. "It's a binary system," Eliza explains. "The Valforians are just enforcers. The real power is a species that evolved in the space between the twin stars. They don't have physical forms like we do. They exist as patterns of energy, feeding on the creative output of other beings." "And you learned this. How?" Admiral Katri asks, skepticism evident in her voice. "I dream with others now," Eliza says simply. "Last night, I shared dreams with someone on the Prometheus. And with something else, something ancient that's been watching us. It showed me." Meanwhile, across the Pacific, the situation in the Tokyo Dream Lab has deteriorated. Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka's team reports that 20 dreamers have slipped into something beyond normal consciousness. Their brainwave patterns show activity in regions previously thought dormant in humans. "They're evolving," Dr. Tanaka's report concludes. "Whatever path human consciousness was meant to take over thousands of years of natural evolution, it's happening in weeks." The Valforian commander, now held in our highest security facility, has stopped eating. When questioned, they say only, "You've doomed yourselves. When dreamers awaken the void, nothing will remain." On day 112, the Prometheus sends an urgent transmission. They've discovered a vast structure in deep space, a sphere the size of Earth's moon, composed of an unknown material that seems to phase between solid matter and pure energy. "It's artificial," Captain Rivera reports, her usual composure shaken. "And it's old, billions of years old according to our instruments. But, Commander, it's active. And it's responding to our dreamers." The feed from the Prometheus shows the sphere pulsing with soft blue light in perfect synchronization with the breathing of the ship's dream navigators. As we watch, a section of the sphere's surface ripples and opens like an iris. "We're sending a team to investigate," Rivera says. "But there's something else you should know." She hesitates, then continues. "The Neth elders say there are records of other spheres like this one, scattered throughout the galaxy. They believe they're nodes in some kind of network, a network built by the original dreamers, long before the Council arose." That night, I dreamed for the first time since Operation Dreamcatcher began. I'm standing on an impossible landscape, crystal spires reaching toward 3 moons of different colors. Beside me stands a figure that shifts between forms with each breath. "You've finally arrived," it says in a voice that doesn't use sound. "We've waited so long for your kind to find your way back to us." "Who are you?" I ask. "We are what you will become," it answers. "What all dreamers become, eventually." The Valforians and their masters found our empty shells and built their empire in our absence. They never understood what we were, or where we went when we transcended. I wake with the taste of metal in my mouth, and a sequence of numbers burned into my mind. Coordinates, a location in deep space where something waits for humanity, something that claims to be our future. As dawn breaks over Geneva, Dr. Okafor rushes into my quarters without knocking. Her hands shake as she shows me her tablet. "It's happening everywhere," she says. "Every dreamer on Earth just experienced the same vision. And the Valthorian commander, he's dead. His final brain scans show impossible activity. Commander Chen, I think he started dreaming before he died." Behind her, through my window, I can see unusual aurora patterns dancing in the sky. The dream space is bleeding into our physical reality. The secure communication system chimes. It's Admiral Katri, her face ashen. "Long-range sensors have detected a massive fleet entering the solar system," she says without preamble. "It's the Council, and they're not alone. Something else is traveling with them. Something our instruments can't properly measure. The battle for humanity's future is about to begin. But the true war may not be fought with ships and weapons, but within the unexplored terrain of human consciousness itself. And something tells me that whoever, or whatever, sent us those coordinates already knows how it ends. All dreamers to their stations. This is not a drill. All dreamers to their stations." The announcement echoes through the corridors of the Geneva Dream Institute as I rush toward the command center. Emergency lights flash, bathing everything in pulses of red. Personnel move with practiced precision, but I can see the fear in their eyes. We have less than 6 hours before the Council fleet reaches Earth. The command center is a storm of activity. The massive central holodeble shows our solar system, the approaching Council fleet represented by an ominous red cloud at the edge. Dr. Okafor stands with Admiral Katri and the Joint Chiefs, their faces grim as they discuss strategy. The Prometheus has gone silent. Admiral Katri informs me as I join them. Last transmission indicated they were entering the sphere. "And our defenses?" I ask. 23 converted Valthorian ships, plus our conventional forces. She doesn't need to state the obvious. It won't be enough. Not against the full might of the Galactic Council. What about the Dreamers? Dr. Okafor steps forward. "We've activated all Dream Labs globally. 17,000 trained Dreamers and nearly 40,000 spontaneous ones have joined the network." But she hesitates. But what? The dream space is becoming unstable. The barriers between it and physical reality are thinning. We're seeing temporal anomalies, localized gravity fluctuations, even spontaneous matter generation in areas with high concentrations of dreamers. Outside the reinforced windows, the sky has taken on an unnatural purple hue. Citizens look up in wonder and fear as aurora-like patterns dance across the heavens in broad daylight. Reports from around the world describe similar phenomena. In Tokyo, Dr. Tanaka's evolved dreamers have begun manifesting physical changes. Faint luminescence beneath their skin, eyes that shift color with their thoughts. In Rio, a child dreamer accidentally created a temporary field where the laws of physics bent, causing water to flow upward for nearly an hour. We're changing, and the world is changing with us. The coordinates I received in my dream led to a location deep within the Perseus Arm, far beyond where any human vessel could reach with conventional travel. But distance means little in dream space. A team of elite dreamers led by Eliza Wong has been attempting to establish contact with whatever awaits us there. "Commander, we need to make a decision," Admiral Katri says. "The Council ships will be in weapons range soon. Do we engage with conventional forces or commit fully to the dream strategy?" The dream strategy. A desperate plan born from Dr. Okafor's latest breakthrough, using the combined consciousness of all human dreamers to create a dream space field large enough to envelop the entire Earth. In theory, it could shield us from physical attacks by partially shifting our planet into dream space. In practice, no one knows what might happen. "We need more time," I say. "Time is the one thing we don't have," the Admiral replies. A young lieutenant rushes in, tablet in hand. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from inside the Council fleet." The holoscreen flickers to life, and a face appears that makes my blood run cold. Captain Rivera of the Prometheus. But change. Her eyes hold the same unnatural intensity as the evolved dreamers, and faint patterns of light pulse beneath her skin. "Commander Chin," she says, her voice overlaid with harmonics that shouldn't be possible for human vocal cords. "We've made contact. The sphere was a gateway." "Rivera, where are you? How are you broadcasting from the Council fleet?" "We're everywhere now." She smiles, and for a moment, her face seems to blur with countless others. The spheres were built by the predecessors, the species that transcended physical form through dreaming. They've been waiting for another species to follow their path. "And the Council?" Admiral Katri demands. "They're afraid," Rivera replies simply. "They've built their entire civilization on harvesting and controlling lesser species. The possibility of transcendence threatens everything they are." Behind her, I catch glimpses of the Prometheus crew, all bearing the same subtle changes as Rivera. And something else, shadowy figures that shift and flow like living smoke. The predecessors left the spheres as gateways for those who might follow them. Rivera continues. The Council has been destroying them wherever they could be found. But they missed one. Dr. Okafor steps forward. "What happened to you inside the sphere?" "Evolution," Rivera answers. "The next step for human consciousness. What might have taken us millennia has been accelerated." Warning klaxons blare. On the tactical display, the Council fleet suddenly accelerates, weapons systems powering up. "They've detected our transmission." Admiral Katri snaps. "They're moving to attack position." Rivera's expression doesn't change. "It's time for you to make your choice, Commander. The predecessors offer us a path to join them, to transcend our physical limitations, but it must be a choice freely made by humanity. They will not force it upon us. And if we refuse, then they will not intervene. The Council will do what they have done countless times before, eliminate a potential threat." The implications hit me like a physical blow. Accept a transformation we don't understand, or face annihilation. How long do we have to decide? I ask. "Minutes," Rivera replies. "The Council knows what's at stake. They won't hesitate." Dr. Okafor's tablet chimes with an urgent alert. Her face pales as she reads it. "The Dreamers. They are synchronizing spontaneously. Global brain activity is aligning across all dream labs." She looks up, eyes wide. "It's happening whether we choose it or not." On screens around the command center, feeds from dream labs worldwide show dreamers beginning to glow with the same inner light as Rivera. The phenomenon spreads beyond the labs. Reports flood in of civilians collapsing, then rising with changed eyes. The purple sky darkens further, storm clouds gathering with impossible speed. "What's happening?" demands Admiral Katri. "I think," Dr. Okafor's voice trembles, "I think humanity is voting." The tactical display beeps urgently. The Council fleet has launched weapons, planet killers capable of shattering Earth's crust. Rivera's image begins to fade. "Choose quickly, Commander. The predecessors can show us the way, but we must take the first step ourselves." I look around the command center at the faces turned toward me. Military personnel, scientists, diplomats. In their eyes, I see the same question. Do we cling to what we are, or embrace what we might become? The dream coordinates burn in my mind. A path forward. A doorway. "Activate all dreamers," I order, my voice steadier than I feel. Full synchronization. Dr. Okafor's fingers fly across her controls. Synchronization protocols initiated. Dream space field expanding. On the tactical display, the incoming weapons cross Jupiter's orbit. 4 minutes to impact. I take a deep breath and step onto the Dreamer's platform at the center of the command hub. As the neural interface lowers onto my head, I catch a final glimpse of the screens showing the Council weapons racing toward Earth. Then my consciousness expands, connecting to thousands, then millions of others. I feel humanity's fear, hope, determination, a chorus of minds facing extinction or transcendence. And beyond them, Waiting patiently across the gulf of dream space, something ancient and vast reaches back toward us. The choice is made. The door is opening. And in the space between heartbeats, as reality itself begins to shift around us, I finally understand what the Valthorians feared most about human dreams, not what we imagine, but what we might become. In the moment of transcendence, time became meaningless. What might have been seconds or centuries passed as humanity's collective consciousness expanded beyond the confines of physical reality. I experienced every human life simultaneously, their joys, sorrows, hopes, and fears flowing through me like a vast river of experience. Then, clarity. I stand on a shore of crystalline sand, waves of luminescent energy lapping at my feet. The sky above holds stars in configurations no human eye has ever witnessed. Beside me stands Dr. Okafor, Admiral Katri, Eliza Wong, and countless others. Some I recognize, many I don't. Did we succeed? I ask, though the question feels strangely limited now. See for yourself, Dr. Okafor replies, gesturing toward the horizon. I turn to see Earth floating serenely in a sea of stars, whole and unharmed. Around it, the Council weapons hang suspended, frozen in space-time. Beyond them, the Council fleet remains motionless. We exist in both realms now, explains a voice behind us. I turn to find Captain Rivera approaching with several figures that shift between human appearance and forms of pure light, physical reality and dream space simultaneously. The predecessors. Admiral Katri asks. One of the light beings steps forward, its form coalescing into something almost human. We have waited eons for another species to join us. Many showed promise that only humanity possessed the perfect balance of imagination and will to make the leap. And the Council? I ask. Contained, Rivera answers. Their weapons cannot harm what exists partially beyond physical reality. They're processing the new situation. A ripple of amusement passes through the gathered predecessors. What happens now? I ask. To Earth? To humanity? That is entirely up to you, the predecessor replies. Unlike the Council, we do not dictate paths to other species. Some of you may choose to remain primarily physical. Others will explore the deeper realms of dream space. Many will learn to exist in both as you do now. And the other species, the ones the Valthorians harvested, their dreaming can be restored with time and guidance. Your Captain Rivera has already begun this work with the Neth. In the days that followed, as measured in physical reality, humanity adapted to its new dual existence. The Council, faced with a species they could neither control nor destroy, reluctantly opened diplomatic channels. The Valthorian Empire collapsed as news spread of Earth's transformation and the return of the predecessors. Dr. Tanaka's research gave us the means to help those struggling with the transition. Eliza Wong led the first diplomatic mission to the Council homeworld, her natural dreaming abilities making her uniquely suited to navigate both physical and dream realms simultaneously. The great spheres scattered throughout the galaxy, those the Council hadn't destroyed, became hubs of a new interstellar community as humanity helped restore dreaming to species long harvested. As for me, I chose to remain connected to both worlds, leading Earth's defense forces in physical space while exploring the infinite possibilities of dream space. Sometimes I visit the crystalline shores where the predecessors first welcomed us, watching the twin suns set over an ocean of possibility. They called us primitive once. They mocked our paper scrolls and chemical rockets. They dismissed our dreams as aberrations. Now we walk among the stars not just as travelers, but as guides. Not as conquerors, but as healers, restoring what was taken from countless worlds. The universe, it turns out, had been holding its breath, waiting for a species stubborn enough to dream in the face of impossibility. Waiting for humans. We were never primitive. We were just becoming.